Hi, this is Rick Rice with one of the newer series of videos to the Rick Rice 1 channel, focusing on the changes and the new things going on with CS4, Creative Suite 4 and 5. And, the vast majority of the Rick Rice 1 library is built around CS3, but the reality is that 90% of the tools and the way things work has not changed one iota. So those are completely applicable, the vast majority of them, even for CS5. But we are going to focus in these newer group of videos on the things that have in fact changed. And this one is going to be about the interface, the way things function here in Illustrator. It applies across the board to Photoshop, InDesign, as well as the web programs in the CS suite. And so here, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we always have is our menu bar at the top of our screen. And we've got a couple of things we can look from the top left here. First off, we have the button in the programs that lets you jump, as they call it, or quickly switch to another program, and primarily Bridge, which is increasingly the control center for the Adobe products. And so a jump button to the Bridge is available right here. And right next to that, we have layout. When you have more than one window, or think of it as more than one document open at a time, you can arrange them differently. I'll come back to this in a second. And then we have across over here on to the right, we also have a series of setups of tools. Notice we've got generally it's defaulted to Essentials. And this has panels set up in a general sort of way. You can go here and quickly say, okay, I want to focus on something to do with painting. So you click on this and notice immediately we get a group of panels, or a panel group, that has painting type tools and borders and things that relate to that general environment. We also can do for typography, and it brings up all of the typography and the color tools, etc. And we can also change the overall interface to look like it does in other programs within the suite, like InDesign and Photoshop. And that's pretty cool. Or if you're going to do some web things here in Illustrator, it brings up tools that relate to web images and making web imagery. Also, another really neat aspect of this is that we can save a particular setup or arrangement of panels and where things are and how things work, and they call it a workspace. And this is terrific if, in fact, you have several people working on the same computer. You may like things arranged one way, and the next person likes things arranged a different way. And so we can come here, and after you've arranged everything just the way you like it, you can say, let's go and create a custom workspace. So I simply say Save Workspace. Again, this is right from here, up in the corner, and I'll say Save Workspace. I'll call it the Rick Rice Workspace, and I say OK, and then it is now a choice within this list up in the corner. And so in seconds, you can go from someone else's setup of things to your personal setup. and just the way you like it. So that's a very, very cool thing. Also, increasingly, we have some tools for what's called CS Live, and we can have access to those things up here in the right-hand corner. I'm not going to really focus on that at the moment. And then below that, as always, we have the what they call context sensitive options bar, which these are tools and things relating to each individual tool, and they will change depending on the tool that you pick or choose. And so this is always a pretty neat thing right here. Also, now let's look at the panels and the panel groups. Remember that all of your individual panels are always available under Window here in the main menu. And you have to get used to these little symbols and the way things are done here in the Adobe programs, because once you get it, then they all behave the same way. First off, we can bring up any of our panels, and quite often, like these, they are set up in overlapping tabs. And each of them can be click and hold your mouse and drag and pulled away onto itself. And each panel always has an options button. They've changed the way it looks a little bit. It's this little thing here in the corner that's always the options button, and it's going to have things that relate to that particular panel. Okay. Then we also have, as you can see, some of these have been collapsed into little icons, and if we click this little double arrow here in the right corner, you see it'll become a smaller panel. And then we can click it again and it opens up. Also, with many of these individual panels, again, got to get used to it. We've got on the little tab next to the word, we've got some little arrows. And often there are 2 or 3 choices here for how much information we're going to see. And we can click it once, and you see it collapses just to the little tab. Click it again, and I've got the largest with all of the tools. Click it again, and I have just the basic tools, in this case of the character dialog box. Also, along the same lines, we can make new groups of these, again, to arrange them the way you might like. And for instance, I will pull my color away, let's say, and click and drag, and it's a separate panel. And of course, each separate panel can be completely closed by clicking the little circle right there in the upper corner. But we can also put these together in overlapping tabs. Alright, again, and watch, I click and drag this, and when I bring it up, you see that blue little bar or that blue line? You see, that means they've connected. And so if I drop it, let go, now they become tabs on top of each other. I could also, I just clicked and dragged and pulled it apart. You can also stack them under each other. Again, notice I bring it right up, and for a moment there's a blue bar, and now they're stacked instead of overlapped. And again, you can then make them much smaller. Okay. Then we can make the group even smaller, once again, by collapsing with the little arrows in the right corner. Okay. Then we also, with respect to our documents or the canvas itself, that can be rearranged. I'm going to create a new page, a second blank page. And so File, New, Command N, Control on the PC. I'll just say OK. And once again, now with the Adobe programs, when you have more than one page open in the same program, they also show as tabs. And I can click back and forth. And these, similar to what we just looked at with the panels, I can click this one and pull it away. And now, as you can see, it's a separate panel. And that is, you can move them around independently. I'll put a different shape on this one just so that you can see very clearly that it's a different file. So I can have them floating, and whichever one I click on becomes the active one in the front. Or, once again, I could, like we did with the panels, notice, I click in the upper little bar, the title bar of this particular page or document, and look, I bring it up and bring it there. Look at the blue line. The little blue line is popping up. That means that these are going to drop on top of each other and become tabs again. So that is a really nice feature. Then whether we have 2 or 10 pages open, you can arrange how they are in relationship to each other. I'm going back up to the upper left-hand corner right here, and this is the arrangement of documents. So, for instance, I have 2 documents, and I could show them side by side. Okay. Alright, let me do that again. I'll do this, and you see now they're literally side by side. Maybe I want them stacked vertically on top of each other. So again, I'll go back up here to the left corner, and I will go here and I'll say, okay, stack them vertically. And so once again, they're automatically stacked. And it's really nice because you have complete control. And then you want to pull them completely apart. You can do that as well just by clicking and dragging it. So here are a few of the newer features in the CS4 and 5 Adobe Suite. All the programs work in a similar manner, and so once you get used to these little tools and these symbols up in the corner of the panels and that sort of thing, and how to arrange your documents, it all flows seamlessly together. It's one of the great things about the Adobe programs that I think really makes your functionality and your productivity go much quicker throughout the suite. Hope this helped get you more oriented, and look for some more of the videos to come for CS4 and 5 to update the Rick Rice 1 channel. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.